Hi, welcome to this channel on magnetic energy, technology, principles, and applications. This video is about magnetic energy and economics and the economy. Whoa, boy, is the economy in a rough place right now on planet Earth, to say it lightly. So over 100 years ago, Nikola Tesla was working with etheric energy, with etheric technology. But the corporate powers that be and who the people thinking about funding him, who shall not be named because they should go down in history as well, anyway, they could not see how they could make money off of the etheric technology and the ether because it's essentially free. Now, given that that's all ridiculous and they actually could have made a lot of money off of it, but so now fast forward and look at today, and we've been living now on this planet with a scientific model that has essentially written off the idea of the etheric energy being in around us, everywhere through us, and throughout the universe. Tesla at the time understood very well that the universe was made up of a variety of resonances, of magnetic resonance and electrical resonance, as he called it at that time. And I have a feeling that if he didn't already know this, he would have figured it out quite quickly, that etheric energy not only provides you with an unlimited amount of free energy to power everything, it also provides you with an unlimited amount of everything. So once you learn how to channel etheric energy through devices and even through the human body and consciousness, and you learn how to polarize that relatively neutral etheric energy, add polarities to it, change the pulse rate to it, slow it down, add magnetic resonance signatures to it, you can essentially create, if you will. You're not really creating anything. What you're doing is you're assembling etheric energy into any molecular structure that you want. How that translates into reality, what people will see, is it essentially is like creating matter out of nothing. Now, of course, we know that's not true because everything is energy. What we're doing is we're just changing the vibratory rate of that energy, we're concentrating that energy, we're giving it magnetic resonance signatures, and we're telling it essentially what to do. All those templates are already existent. So you can create essentially all the matter that you need. Now, look at today's economy. Even from a purely conventional point of view, magnetic technology, including if you just started with the units on our website, all of those units are gateway units that could lead to hundreds and thousands and millions of new devices that could essentially save the economy from a very conventional point of view. They could provide jobs, they could provide income, they could provide everything else. But the thing is, once you open that door to that technology, there's really essentially no going back, because what it does is it eventually leads you down the road of anti-gravity, of free energy, free water, free minerals, free resources. It gives you the ability to replicate any matter and create that matter at will, and essentially it ends scarcity. So with the end of scarcity, how does that look for governments? How does that look for businesses? When we go through the shifts that are coming in the next few years, and hopefully they are coming in the next few years, and we go through a series of magnetic shifts and enlightenment shifts, reality as we know it on this planet is about to change, and consciousness is about to change for a very significant amount of people. And hopefully with everyone, depending on how that all plays out and what your belief systems are and what you think is going to happen. One way or another, this planet is going to jump to another higher vibratory level, and it's going to impact all life on this planet. And so what is the role of a corporation in that world, in that new paradigm, in that new model of economy? Corporations, first of all, will be there to serve people, not themselves, but to serve people. They will provide high quality goods, the highest quality, because there is absolutely no reason for them to provide anything less than the highest quality of every good, because there's no limitation on their supply anymore. There's no reason to try to make as much money and give the cheapest materials possible and make a profit, because there's no need for a profit anymore. There's no need for money anymore. Even credit, any type of currency, essentially becomes worthless and useless because there's no more scarcity. So goods no longer have value, and everyone can have the amount of goods that they want. Now, in an unenlightened world, that could be quite troublesome, because people would go crazy with everything that they want. But as you step up the vibratory rate around a planet and you start bringing in a higher level of awareness, a higher level of consciousness to people, something interesting happens. People start to live from their heart energy centers more than their typical brain functions. And so what that does is people are driven, compelled very strongly by a heart desire, by a heart energy. So if you had, for example, a heart-centered dream of what it is for you to be doing on this planet in this incarnation, that motivation, that drive will become so strong. And with a world that doesn't demand that you become just a consumer or an economic slave to the system so that you can make a paycheck so that you can survive, when your survival is not dependent on money, all of a sudden your heart resonation is much, much stronger than it was before. Now you are compelled to do something with that energy. And so that will vary from day to day, maybe it may, and it'll vary from person to person, but it essentially looks like a society and a world guided with not only an interconnectivity among all people, but a heart-centered, a heart energy-based guidance that tells people what it is that you truly feel compelled to do or fulfilled doing. And so it may be anything. It may be creating music, it may be creating food, it may be doing whatever it is that you're compelled to do, exploring other worlds, or just exploring this world, or hopefully, and I'm sure this will be for a lot of people on the planet, helping to clean up the mess that we've made on this planet over the last 100 years or so. So what does a government look like in this economic environment? A government is there to serve the people. And they will be there to serve the people with a minimum amount of influence in any other area. Politicians won't necessarily be elected in the traditional sense of the word, but you will have a society that is tuned in not only to itself, but to who is the best person to serve for that particular position at that particular time. So they're not about controlling the people. They're not about controlling handouts or controlling the level of living, the economic status of people. They're not about trying to get corporate payoffs, and none of that. None of that even matters anymore. What matters is that they're there when needed to serve the people who need them. This brings communities back to independence, freedom, the ability to be self-sustaining. Very small communities with magnetic energy microgrids can literally be self-sustaining 100% on every level, on everything that they need to survive. All goods and services, all food can be all done in small self-sustaining communities anywhere on the planet and then beyond. So you think about the transition to a freedom, to a heart-centered environment. Imagine corporations or businesses or governments being tuned into each other at a heart-centered level and to the population that they serve and the global community that they serve, and making decisions based on that higher awareness, that higher consciousness, that heart-centered energy. Imagine that. Put that out there, because that's where we're heading. That's the environment. That's the economic environment that we will be living in. The cool thing about this is goods and services may no longer have intrinsic value, because, like, for example, you could have diamonds by the ton, gold by the ton. But what goods and services will have is the value that we add to them, especially from a heart-centered society where we are guided to connect with certain people, guided to connect with certain businesses if you still want to have a business. If the idea is to have play money, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that the economic model is heart-driven, that it's heart-centered, and that the creativity that's expressed is something that comes from the heart. The goods that are created come from the heart. Food, for example, when you start getting into this and people gain in higher vibration, many people won't even actually need food for survival. They will live off of etheric energy because they will know how to convert it with their consciousness to sustain their body. But food becomes this incredible form of art, this incredible form of pleasure, and the ability of people to put their intentions and their envisioning food and creating food in ways that are way beyond anything we can imagine. That same evolution in consciousness and that evolution in creativity will extend to every other area of society. So music will experience an exponential growth in creativity. Product development, an exponential growth in creativity. The idea of creating out of consciousness and using the minerals and the elements that are truly available to us, not just from what you might think of digging up the planet or something, which will come to a complete end, by the way. There will be no more need to mine this planet and essentially rape this planet of its resources. It'll be about healing the planet, restoring that energy, restoring those mines, restoring what has been damaged, and helping the planet get back to its natural habitat, its natural vibratory rate, its natural magnetic resonance. And not only that, but beginning to treat the planet as a sanctuary, as a sacred environment, as a holy type of being, if you will, a presence, a resonance that has a level of consciousness that we may begin to tune in more and get more in touch with. It has a path, it has a direction, and it's time for us, as living with it and cohabitating with it, to tune in with it and help it on that path, not only with the animals and the plants, but also with the actual minerals and restoring what has been taken. So treating the planet with 100% love and respect from a heart-centered point of view, healing the planet on every level, internally, externally, water, land, air, everything around it, and then the energy, the etheric field around it, the etheric balance, bringing it back into balance. There's your idea for your business or your corporation, planets that actually serve, or companies, that actually serve the planet, that use technology to better the environment, to better the planet, and to help people achieve that. So once you have that type of environment and that type of economic system, if you will, then we can move into really getting more into exploring the new levels of the technology and move into things like floating cities and moving beyond the planet with respect and understanding and a heart-centered presence for the universe and for our cosmic neighbors that we will be interacting with. So, magnetic energy, enlightenment, a new economic system. Forget about money. It's not necessary. Think about freedom. Think about the heart-centered relationships that you have with other people and your heart expression following that adventure and tuning into that and how it changes, and it changes every day or every month or every year, and giving people a new mission, new things to learn. We have barely scratched the surface of what's available for us to explore and learn in this universe, both dimensionally and physically, in every level. That whole process will become open to us, and it gives us a whole new world to live for and to explore. So it's time to let go of that old model. It's time to embrace an etheric model. And it's time to embrace new energy and to look for a new level of consciousness and let people stop struggling to survive and have a world where governments and corporations are no longer controlling people with money, but people are free to own what they need, what their heart centered, what their heart energy is telling them they need, and that energy, that those products, those goods, those services, that housing, that transportation is all provided to everyone, and it can even be provided at the local level. It doesn't need to be controlled by a government or a corporation. It can even be controlled individually. So your expression of what you know from your heart center of the type of house you need, or the transportation you need, or the clothes you need, or all the products you need, that is your expression to the world. And you know, as part of a global community and a part of the global society, of what your individual responsibility is. People will understand their individual responsibilities to that and to that system. So you may not necessarily feel like, oh, I need a 20 bedroom mansion. That's not what my heart's really calling me to do. My heart's calling me to be part of this community that lives, who knows, maybe in another country, in another location, and restore the earth. And that the thing about it is when the vibratory rate on the planet, we can't really understand it from this point of view. But as that vibratory rate increases, that heart-centered, driven energy, it's very strong. It will get stronger and stronger and stronger, and it will compel people to live from that point of view. And that's really important because that's what we want. We want that as a global community, to have that drive, to live from that point of view, because that will put us in tune with each other, it will put us in tune with the planet, and it'll put us in tune with our cosmic neighbors beyond. And so that, my friends, is a heart-centered economic model that is coming. So believe it, meditate on it, invite it in, accept it, raise the vibration on this planet. Let's help do our part. Constantly be clearing and cleaning any type of low vibration, negative energy on this planet. Clean it with a vortex of light. Imagine it around people. Imagine it around circumstances and situations. Do it every day. Do it throughout the day as much as you can do it. Imagine those white light vortices cleaning energy around the planet constantly. And let's keep raising that vibration. And I'll see you next time.